How are you enjoying your second lockdown?
I think it's all good this time around. I think maybe last time was a little bit more punishing than this one, so this is a little bit easier, I think.
Hopefully the end is in sight.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens over the weekend. Uh, so the Lucy's mixtape, that's being released today, is it?
Yeah, I think that's out today. That's all into the world, which is
Excellent. How are you feeling about it?
yeah, good man. It's kind of it's nice. It's refreshing. You can finally let go of this stuff because quite often you're holding on to it for a wee while, I suppose. So it feels good to be able to kind of move on.
Right. And any reservations about releasing it under these circumstances?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't really mind. I think there's something. Our show's probably going to have to be postponed at the Tuning Fork and stuff like that, which is kind of annoying, but
Right.
just gives us more time to practice. So
Yes. So when you say us, you are a band. Tell us about who else. I know you've got. There's four of you all together. So who else is in the group?
Yeah. We have Alistair Meffin, who him and I both started the band together. He's a keyboard player. We have Jaden Lee, who's the drummer, and then we have Marika Hodgson, who's the bassist.
She's an ace. She's been up here and played a few times. I love her.
Yeah. I think I've even seen some of them.
Yeah.
Like she kind of plays with everyone.
She does indeed. So the songs that comprise the mixtape, I assume most of them are written by you. Is that correct?
It was kind of a collaboration, I guess, between myself and Justin Gray, who was our producer for these tracks.
Right.
They were all written over in Alae, just as like on a whim kind of experiment, I guess. And what we got is what we gave. So that's kind of that's what happened, I guess.
And so overall, you mentioned Justin. How did he contribute to the production?
He's pretty all over everything. You know what I mean? He's he played majority of the instruments that were kind of pre-recorded electronic instruments. All that sort of stuff, and he kind of helped with some of the writing. Most of the lyrics and the melodies were kind of on me, and then the rest was on him. But it was definitely collaborative throughout. You know what I mean? Everything was done together.
Now, since there's only 7 tracks on the record, I thought maybe we just go touch on each one individually, since it's coming out today. It's news and exciting stuff. So the first one is called "Hit Me Where It Hurts," and it's pretty funky, pretty soulful. What can you tell me about it?
That song was actually a part of the what's it called, Song Hub's week at Roundhead. So I was really lucky actually to have a really cool room of writers. I had Annabelle Liddell from Miss June, and who's such a force. And
he is indeed.
There was Jason from Leisure, and myself and Justin, the producer. That was the first day I met him. And that song was so that song was just written in that day, and we all left feeling really confident with it. And it was kind of what sparked my curiosity about collaboration and songwriting rooms and stuff like that. Was the first of that.
So correct me, is the collaboration songwriting, did you write it with all those other folks, or did you write it on your own after hanging out with them?
No, it was written that day with them, so we're all writers on that track.
That's pretty cool.
I was really stoked. I thought it was a good song to lead with heading into this kind of newer direction.
So did you do things differently because you were writing with people that you didn't normally work with?
I suppose my process had kind of changed completely. Usually I'd kind of be sitting in my bedroom just kind of feeling sorry for myself a little bit, coming up with some kind of catharsis. And that was my process usually. And it kind of changed just through that week and through that writing session in particular. I think I became more able to take other ideas on board from other people and just open up a little bit, which was nice.
Nice. The second track is called Please.
Yeah.
And is that your falsetto that you're using on that one?
Yeah, falsetto all the way. It's a killer of a song to sing, man. It's painful, but I think we were going that day for a really kind of, we were referencing people like Prince and Minnie Riperton and
right. Like, Minnie gets up there, so it's a tough.
She gets all the way up there, right? I was like, man, only I had those whistle tones. I think I've tried a few times, but it just sounds like sad screams. So
yeah. That's cool. So do you do? I mean, Prince and Minnie Riperton. Who else do you listen to that you kind of draw inspiration from?
I mean, there's heaps. There's a lot of people. I always try to keep it pretty broad, and I guess I was brought up in a family environment of people who loved music. My mum and my stepdad kind of loved music, and they were all about heaps of indie records and stuff. So
right.
One of my favorites growing up was Josh Rouse.
Oh, right.
Like
yeah.
Huge.
I haven't heard from him lately, but he was pretty hot there for a while.
Yeah, totally. I think he's just living in Spain and being happy, you know.
I think you're right. Yeah.
But he's amazing. There's heaps of artists, like Wilco is a huge one for me as well.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, you wouldn't necessarily pick that up from the music.
No, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, Wilco's not really making it on this one.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, the first album was pretty heavily inspired by people like that, and people like Feist, and
right.
the Kings of Convenience, and just heaps of those kind of bands that I absolutely love. But I guess nowadays we're just trying to make it a little bit more palatable for everyone. You know what I mean? Less of that, I don't know, kind of selfish music. If that makes sense.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay, next track is called Lucy. And this is Lucy's mixtape. So who's Lucy?
Lucy's no one. Lucy is just kind of like the favorite song that we wrote. I guess there's some kind of loosely kind of like lucid references, if that makes sense. And stuff like that. So Lucy's kind of about that vibe and being at a festival and just letting go.
And a little sly reference to the Beatles in the lyric as well.
Just a little not very under the radar kind of reference. But it's a cool song. It was one of my favorite songs. It was hence why the song's kind of the mixtape is named after that. And it was written with a dude called Max Gunn, who was in a band called The Shambles.
Okay.
So we just met during Song Hubs as well, and then we left later on and wrote that song in our own time. So that was cool.
It's very catchy.
Yeah, it is. Hey,
I think it's the most immediately accessible song on the seven.
Yeah,
it just grabs you. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And then we have Summer Thing, which is a very different kind of dancey, groovy thing.
Yeah, super pop, hey?
Yeah.
It's a bop. I mean, we just kind of wrote it over in Alae. That was a Justin track. And it just came out really quickly, and I was like, I suppose you can't really fault that. It felt good, and people who I kind of played it to were like, man, it immediately is very feel good, and I thought that could work in our favor. So I guess it was a tactical song.
Well, you can't argue with a song that encourages you to sleep all day and have breakfast at 5 p.m. I like that.
I know, exactly. I mean, it's great for your mental health, that sort of encouragement.
That's good. So now the following three tracks are all different versions of some of the songs that we've already talked about, starting out with another version of Lucy, and it's a cappella. So talk to me about that one. So
we kind of I was lucky enough to get to know the guys from the Beat Council, who kind of always play a gig in Auckland every weekend or something. They have a residency somewhere. I can't remember what the bar's called. But I was lucky enough to get up on stage and sing a couple of songs with those guys. And then Marika, who'd known them for a while, asked Nate to do a cappella version of Lucy. And he was really excited. He loved the song. And as soon as we heard it back, we were like, oh, man, this is pretty cool. So we just thought, why not incorporate it? It's a nice kind of, I don't know, completely different version of that song.
Very kind of doo-woppy kind of.
Yeah. Under the boardwalk kind of thing.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that stuff. And then the other version of Hit Me Where It Hurts is called the Lockdown version, and it's much slower and moodier than the other
I love
version.
that song. I think that's probably my favorite song on the mixtape. It was recorded with Joel Mulholland from The Lab, who actually, who recorded our first album with us. He co-produced it, and it was kind of just a nice breath of fresh air to be able to get into the studio with him again and just reimagine something that was quite left of field for us at the time. So I mean, that was it's awesome. That was all one take. You know what I mean? I just sat there with Joel and he played guitar and I sang, and we were like, oh, okay, that's the one. And then Alistair just came through and played some keys on it, like some synth stuff. So.
Very nice. Do you enjoy reworking the songs and doing different versions of them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still a really I don't know, valid point that most songs, that do actually stand alone in any context, in any whether or not that be the pop scene or something more commercial, it can always be reimagined and turned into something that's just generally good. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So this version was a little bit more timeless and a little bit more kind of sincere. So
cool. And then of course the EP wraps up with a guest vocalist, Bailey Wiley, doing her version of Please. So why did you work with her, and what did you talk to her about before she went ahead and did her thing?
Well, I mean, I work with her because I've seen her sing live at a couple of gigs, and every time I've just been astounded at how much energy she has, and so much believability. Like, as soon as you see her sing, you're like, oh, okay, you can sing. Like, you know what I mean? Some people are a little bit shy and they warm into it, and they have more of a character voice. But like her, she's just great. So after doing that gig with her, I did like a Music and Parks Council gig with her once, and we've always kind of talked a little bit. And I love certain songs of hers, like Zaddy and stuff, are pretty amazing. And we just reached out, and she said she'd be more than happy to do it. I didn't give her any direction or anything. I just let her do what she want. I think she just transposed it and did it real acoustic and real chill. Yeah.
And so who's on the acoustic guitar on that one?
That's Marika, actually.
I thought so.
Yeah. She's all over it, eh? It's pretty cool. It was just just those two, and then it was recorded by Joel as well.
Oh, right.
Which was
nice. Nice. So yeah, it's a nice little package. So hopefully lockdown's going to finish in a few days, and we're going to be back to wandering around the streets and getting into trouble. What are you planning on doing? Anything?
I don't know. I guess we'll just get straight back into practicing, hoping that we can get this show done, and then see what we can do about the Wellington situation, because we've got a show down there as well. So. Right.
So you're Tuning Fork and then Meow, one in September, one in October, right?
Yeah. So whether or not we can get down there, or we'll see what happens. But it should be all going ahead. That's what we'll be working on.
We'll see what happens. And you guys should come up here and play. We'll videotape you. That would be fun.
Oh, totally would.
It would be very cool. Like I say, I know Marika knows the way here, so it's not a problem.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, it's very cool to talk to you on the day of the release. Thank you for taking time out. Have you got any celebratory things going on today?
Not really. I'm probably just going to have a drink. That'll be
very good. All righty. Very good. Well, have a good day, and thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, man.